quite honestly, that was one of the concerns some people had about my coming back, is that I wouldn't feel it. And I have to say, I feel it even more deeply, um, because of the fact that my grandmother actually entertained some of the TT teams at the hotel, including um, in 1939. I have a photograph of my grandmother sitting right in the middle of the German TT team just months before Germany invaded Poland. And then in 1954, the German team came back and stayed at the Haustrake. Um, and so when I was born, the TT was going on. So I would have heard the motors and stuff. So one of the iconic places that I did go and visit was the grandstands where the TT race starts and finishes, which, of course, me having been a motorcycle mechanic who specialized in pre-1960s motorcycle, that was kind of almost hallowed ground. But I honestly feel this is home.
Yeah. What else makes it feel home for you?
This feels home to me because of the fact that I get a sense of that the whole island as a community, is there for each other, and it's an interwoven thing. And being able to be a part of the idea that we're a small nation, but like I say, we've always had a lot of influence through in different parts of history, and like I said, the sea around it is just, I've always been attracted to the sea, even when I was ironically living in the middle of the desert in California. I used to go to the sea as often as I could. And that's one of those things that I had been told by the lady who had raised me, was that I was a man of the isle, a son of the sea, and the brother of the storm. And so, yeah, I just feel that, the weather, even walking the hills, even though I've done a lot more hill walking than I've done probably in most of my life, it's refreshing to just know I'm here, and I'm walking the path where my family had been, and just the history of the island just seems to call to me.
Obviously, after reading your book, in it you do mention the Isle of Man, but I think coming here makes it even more, alive and have that effect.
Well, 2 years ago, I was still sitting in a prison cell, not knowing if I'd ever get out. So the fact that I'm sitting here with you right now is beyond belief to me. And I quite honestly am still quite overwhelmed with just the idea that I made it. And I sent a lot of postcards to people who I'd told over the years that I'd be getting back here, just to let them know, yes, I made it. Manx postcards and Manx stamps on it, postmarked from the Isle of Man. It was very important for me to get that information out to people. But I don't see this as a one-off visit. This is something that, though I would like to one day move back here, that will depend on circumstances in the future, unfortunately. But I definitely see myself coming back on a fairly regular basis just to enjoy the island.
Since you've been here, have you met any family members?
No, actually, I haven't met any family members. And that's kind of due to the part that because of the circumstances that I had been sent away, in part, it kind of caused a scandal within my family because of my father divorcing my mom just before I was born, and then him leaving the island, and then my mom dropping me off with my grandmother, and then her leaving the island. The times were different, and I've come to understand that, and so part of the reason me being sent away was to try to quell gossip and rumors, because being my grandparents were not born here, they were come-overs themselves, grandmother from Birmingham, granddad from Liverpool. They just didn't want to have any of the local people having one more thing to speak about. So the family that I have over here has been basically not really involved with wanting to get to know me, because quite frankly, they didn't know me all their lives, and in their way of thinking, I'm pretty much a stranger. And so not everybody's willing to welcome a stranger into their life. Though I must say, I've had a good number of people who have welcomed me in. One lovely lady who's welcomed me very deeply is a local indie music person named Sarah Puzar, and she's been very helpful to me.